Hello. Today we're looking at the global refugee crisis from completely different perspective. Usually when people discuss migration, they only talk about border walls or humanity pity. But to truly understand this issue, we must look at the bigger picture, global economics and international law. In our modern world, many products and natural resources can move across borders freely to maximize profit. However, when displaced humans try to move, they face giant walls and strict laws. Creates massive global contradiction. Today we will analyze Turkey and Germany. Before we examine these specific countries, we need to understand the wider global problems that mass migration brings. The first major issue is pressure on public infrastructure. When hundreds of thousands of people arrive in a new country within a short time, local housing markets, public transports, and healthcare systems face immediate crisis. The second big problem is social and cultural polarization. Mass migration forces different cultures to live together suddenly, which often creates fear and misunderstanding among the local population. Finally, there is the problem political weaponization. Today, migration is no longer just a humanitarian topic, it is a political tool. Governments and politicians around the world use the presence of refugees to manipulate foreign policy. Now, let us analyze the specific reality of Turkey. Because of its strategic and geographic location as a natural bridge between the East and the West, Turkey became the primary destination for millions of immigrants. Today, Turkey officially hosts the largest refugee population in the world. Politically, Turkey's role was institutionalized by the 2016 EU-Turkey Statement. Under this deal, Europe paid Turkey strengthening borders and keep refugees from entering the European Union. But the real daily problem inside Turkey is economic. They work without official permits, mostly in textile factories, construction, and agriculture. They receive very low wages and have no social insurance. This creates a highly vulnerable labor force that stabilizes low-cost manufacturing for long business. But it also creates deep social and economic tension within the country. On the other side of the migration road, we find Germany, the ultimate destination hub in Europe. Germany presents itself as a humanitarian savior with a welcoming culture. However, behind this positive image lies still a highly calculated economic strategy. Germany has a rapidly aging population and critical shortage of workers in industries. Therefore, the German system uses migration to choose the best human resources from developing nations. But the strategy created a massive problem: extreme bureaucracy. In Germany, a refugee cannot just start working. They must wait for months, sometimes years, to get official work permits. They must pass complete language exams and translate endless documents. This heavy bureaucracy keeps many capable people dependent on government welfare for a very long time, creating frustration for both the refugees and the German taxpayers. As a policy consultant analyzing the global impasse, it is clear that building higher walls and sending basic financial aid is not a real solution. We need realistic mutual economic partnership between Turkey and European Union, specifically Germany. First, the EU must upgrade the customs union with Turkey and provide visa facilitation. In return, Turkey and Germany should establish a shared legal framework to train and integrate refugees directly into specific industrial sectors. Germany desperately needs a workforce, and Turkey has a large underutilized refugee population. By matching Germany's industrial needs with structured job training centers in Turkey, we can create legal, safe, and controlled migration pathways. This practical solution fixes Germany's labor crisis, protects the legal rights of immigrants, and realistically reduces a heavy socio-economic weight on Turkey. To fully understand why this crisis is so difficult to manage inside Turkey and Germany, we must examine a new and modern problem: the power of digital media and online polarization. Today, the migration debate is no longer just happening at official border gates, it is being fought every day on social media. In Turkey, high economic inflation and rising living costs have made the public very sensitive. Social media algorithms easily exploit this situation by spreading unchecked information and fake news. As a result, refugees are frequently used as a scapegoat for domestic economic struggles, which creates a deep division between the local population and immigrants in daily life. In Germany, the digital story has also changed dramatically. 10 years ago, traditional television showed positive stories of integration. Today, however, right-wing political parties heavily use social media to spread fear about national identity and cultural security. In both nations, the digital world has made calm, rational conversation about migration almost impossible. Politicians and online creators use public fear to gain followers and win elections, turning a complex human reality into a dangerous tool for digital polarization. To conclude this video essay, I want to emphasize that this comparative analysis is strictly grounded in high-quality academic literature. Managing a global crisis requires looking at real data, not politic rhetoric. The academic sources displayed on screen were absolutely essential in shaping my arguments and policy recommendations. First, the official reports from the UN provided the solid statistical foundation for my project. Economic studies on the German labor market and papers focusing on social media polarization helped me to understand the domestic struggles of both nations. They proved that mass migration cannot be solved by building higher walls or sending temporary financial aid. It requires structural economic cooperation, mutual benefits, and fundamental reform in how we define human identity and legal rights. This project shows that true human dignity can only be protected when international policy meets economic reality. Thank you very much for your time, your attention, and watching our presentation.